Today, we're going to break down one of the most powerful principles in elite commerce, something that truly separates the top 1% from, well, everyone else. It's called the friendship factor. And no, this isn't just about being friendly. It's a deep, strategic framework for turning prospects into genuine partners.
So here's our game plan. We're going to cover 5 critical areas. First, we'll define what the factor actually is. Then, we'll dive into the psychology behind real connection. After that, we'll look at how to build that all-important bridge of trust, lay out a strategic playbook, and wrap it all up with a real-world masterclass in action.
All right, let's start right at the beginning. What exactly is this friendship factor, and where did the idea even come from?
Okay, so here's the core idea, which was really popularized by the legendary Brian Tracy. It's simple but profound. A prospect won't buy from you until they are absolutely convinced that you are their friend and that you are acting 100% in their best interest. This isn't B2B anymore. It's H to H, human to human.
And this quote from Tracy just hits the nail on the head. Amateurs get bogged down in features and benefits, but the pros, they understand that the real decision, the one that truly matters, is built on trust in another human being.
So now let's get into the foundation of all this. And you might be surprised to learn that it doesn't start with the customer. It actually starts with you, with your own internal mindset.
Your ability to build that external rapport, well, it's a direct reflection of your own internal self-concept. See, people with genuine self-esteem naturally project warmth and an affinity for other people, and customers can feel that authenticity. It's magnetic.
This brings us to something called the mirror effect. Your internal state, your calmness, your confidence, it's literally contagious. You are setting the emotional temperature for the entire interaction. So when you're at ease, guess what? Your customer will be too. And that just melts away any resistance.
And this is exactly why mastering that inner game is so critical. The winning edge principle proves that even a tiny advantage in your ability to connect, to build that initial human rapport, it leads to massive, just enormous differences in your results. It's the ultimate form of leverage.
So, we've got our internal foundation set. Now, how do we translate that into the actual external actions that build a real, durable bridge of trust?
The first goal is to build what we call a bridge of friendship, and you have to do this before you even think about mentioning your product. And how do you do it? Simple. You listen. You facilitate a conversation where the customer is doing 70 to 80% of the talking. That proves your priority is to understand them, not just to pitch them.
Now, once you've earned the right to speak, the sale itself becomes a transfer of enthusiasm. And listen, this cannot be faked. If you don't have an unshakable belief in the value of your solution, you simply cannot transfer that confidence to a client. It's a direct transmission of your own conviction.
In today's market, this human element is more valuable than ever before. I mean, think about it. The world is getting filled with generic AI-generated slop. So authentic connection, personal taste, emotional intelligence, that's your greatest competitive advantage. That's your strategic moat.
And this quote from Stephen Covey, it just says it all, doesn't it? Without trust, you don't have a relationship. And without a relationship, you have no long-term loyalty, no advocacy. Trust is the absolute bedrock of this entire strategy. All right, let's get into the practical application. Let's talk about the playbook and the single most important strategic shift you need to make in your own mind.
This is it. This is the central shift. You are not a seller pushing a product. You are a trusted advisor, a teacher, a problem solver. The moment you adopt a mindset of pure service, when you start asking, how can I help, instead of what can I sell, the customer feels it instantly, and the entire dynamic of the interaction transforms.
This matrix lays it out perfectly. The amateur's goal? Close a deal. Their focus? Product features. The top 1% professional? Their goal is to open a relationship. Their focus is on serving and having a cooperative dialogue. The difference in outcome is huge. It's a one-time transaction versus a customer for life.
So here are 4 actionable steps you can take. 1, make that first minute all about showing you care. 2, dig deeper to find the real emotional why behind their need. 3, create a community where customers can connect with each other, not just you. And 4, use what you learn to personalize every single touch point.
And it's just as important to know what not to do. First, don't try to put a friendly face on a bad product. That's the classic lipstick on a pig trap. Second, don't push for the sale before that bridge of trust is solid. And most importantly, do not fake sincerity. People can smell it a mile away, and it will kill your brand forever. Okay,
Enough theory. Let's look at how this framework delivers absolutely world-class results with a fantastic real-world example.
The cybersecurity firm Wiz is a perfect case study. Instead of doing what every other company in their industry does, they took a completely different, totally human-centered approach.
They created something called CISOtopia, an interactive, playful toy store for cybersecurity professionals. I mean, just think about that for a second. Instead of a dry, boring sales pitch, they built an experience. This showed their audience, people who live in a super high-stress world, that they get them on a human level. It humanized the brand and built a relationship that was so much bigger than any single sale. And this quote from the great Peter Drucker just perfectly captures the end goal here. When you apply the friendship factor correctly, like Wiz did, you understand your customers so deeply that the need for a hard sell just evaporates. Your solution becomes the obvious, natural choice.
This is the perfect thought to end on. The friendship factor isn't a tactic, it's a philosophy. It's the core belief that a genuine, authentic focus on serving other people is not only the right way to do business, it is ultimately the most profitable way. The good you give out always completes the circle and comes back to you.